I was playing a video game. I just found a video game that I actually liked on my iPhone. Been a long time since I played anything like that, but just suddenly something worked, something I really wanted to play. And it's like a shoot 'em up game, spaceship that shoots alien. I'm an old guy, so maybe that's why. It reminds me of the 80s. But the whole point of that game is that every time you complete a level, you get some more points for completing that next level. So you get 50 points for completing the first level, then you get 100 for the next, then 200 for the next, then 400 for the next level, and then almost exponentially you move up like that. And then you can use your point to buy spaceships and, amp up and get some new gear that makes you even more powerful when you play an increasingly harder and harder level, right? But it's so, why do we create games like that? Because every game is like that. Well, it's because it's like life. Because the human brain responds to something it knows. It responds to how reality is rigged. And so if we want to create a great game that's going to make you motivated to play it, that's going to, excite you, then you need to give people more and more as they move up, so we get to a new level, we can do more, we win more on each level, right? Because that reminds us of life, so we can feel successful, right, as we play. And the cool thing is that that's exactly how learning this instrument works, and we don't get that very often. We don't get that because, we as I've been talking about before, we focus on a lot of different areas of guitar playing or learning any instrument. And then we chop our way into each and every one of them, a little by little, which never brings us to mastery. And that is the caveman strategy of learning, because we have a lot to do, then we do a lot all the time. We have practice routines, right? Practice rituals where, okay, I practice chords for 10 minutes, then I practice scales for 10 minutes, then I do this for 10 minutes, and it absolutely brings you nowhere. That's the way to keep a house clean, right? To keep everything working on a daily basis. But that's not the way to learn to get extraordinary skills on an instrument. How to learn is mastery. You take one thing and then you push it all the way up to mastery. You don't stop when you're good. You stop when you're so good at it that it's like, I can play it like 3 or 4 times faster than I need to, right? Talking about that before. But why is that video game constructed the way it is? Well, because it's the exact same thing with mastery. Once you complete one level, which is completing like playing 3 notes on one string, right? You get an enormous amount of points there, because then the next level will be much easier to learn, because you get new spaceships with more power, more firing power, right? That you can buy for the points you got from that level. And what are the points? Well, the points you get from learning to play just 3 notes on one string with alternate picking is that you develop your picking skills on that one string. You focus on just a little bit of a challenge, right? And then you meet it with tons of effort and tons of focus. So everything that looks a little bit like that, like what you now master, will be so much easier to learn. And that's why you have new power. You have a new spaceship with more firing power. So now you can really make a difference, right? But in the beginning, you kind of chop away at it with your little itsy-bitsy one shot at a time spaceship. And it takes time, right? And it's boring and you want to get there faster. And that's what makes the brain go for more, right? I want to get there faster. So let's practice everything in a day, right? But what you need to do is just keep on, earning your points with focus and completing that one level instead of, never completing anything. Because that's what practicing a little each day of everything is like. You'd never complete a level. Never. So you never get your points, and you never get to that point, that place of power where you know something that well. So everything else that looks just a little bit like it, the closer it is to it, the easier it is to learn, right? And just think about how many things you learn by taking alternate picking on one string, 3 notes, triplets with the metronome in front of the TV. Just think about how much you learn, how comfortable you become holding the neck, how your fingers can move right, accurately, how you're picking just, all the little patterns that has been built. It will benefit every area of guitar playing, but, legato will be easier to learn, sweep picking, even strumming, because you got that. right? Everything becomes easier. But of course, the closer it looks to what you learn, the faster you develop. That's the whole secret. That's it. And most people can't do it because they cannot gain control over their own brain to the extent to which they can focus enough on one thing. They will simply give up in the attempt. Because what that game really is the frontal lobes, that uniquely human part of the brain, and the reason why we have such a huge head compared to the monkeys is we have those frontal lobes. And those are the ones that need to take charge over the lower placed monkey brain and the reptile brain. 3 parts of development in the human brain. And if you don't have the strength to say, I need to focus 75% of my time on just this one thing until I master it completely, then you can never get to that place. And if you look at anyone who masters anything to that magical level, you'll find that that's what they did, whether they knew it or not, whether they were consciously aware of it or not. They just kept at it, right? And had focus. So that's my lesson from my video game here, that, you get to another level all the time, and you get power-ups each time you get to a new level. You get more points, so you get stronger and stronger, and you can shoot more aliens faster than you could before in an exponential growth curve, and that's exactly what happens here if you focus, right? If you don't focus, it's like staying on the same level all the time.